Okay, so just to remind people, we know we have Amazon. Okay, Amazon sells ads on their platform on the marketplace. We've probably seen them. Amazon also sells software and tools for advertisers to use to place their ads in other advertising websites like Pinterest, for example. And so, what you have found today and what I want to unpack is that they are looking at some kind of a suite of tools, perhaps, that will help advertisers put ads in chatbot companies, which is kind of a new layer to all this. Help us unpack what it is that you found, why Amazon is even doing this.
Yes, no, it can get a little confusing. So yeah, Amazon, part of Amazon's ad business is helping other websites with their ad businesses. So providing the technology for other websites to sell ads, and this helps Amazon offer more different places to its advertisers to put their ads. And yeah, they are exploring, offering chatbots as a new surface for advertising. Um, they already do have ads on Rufus, or I think have been testing those, but this would be helping chatbots on other websites. For example, one company they've thought about for this experiment is Pinterest. Um, helping these other websites power ads on their chatbots. So helping creating the technology that would put ads in other companies' chatbots. That could be, as we've said, Pinterest. Companies like Yahoo and Time have also released chatbots. There are a bunch of new consumer AI startups that might want to offset the high cost of developing AI with advertising. So that's sort of the market we're looking at, but it is pretty new. Um,
And let's get into the core reasons here for Amazon doing this. I mean, I always think about if whether or not these plays are offensive or defensive in terms of have we seen any investor concern about Amazon's owed ad revenue falling, or maybe their ad tech products falling out of favor with the search businesses? I mean, why do you think they're doing this?
I think it's pretty offensive. Amazon has in the past, especially year or so, though maybe a little longer, kind of become more of a force in advertising technology. You see that against the backdrop of Google facing a lot of antitrust scrutiny for their advertising technology business. Um, and Amazon, I wrote about this a bit last year, but they only have so many places to show ads on their own website. And if they can offer their advertisers more places to advertise, especially in a growing segment of the market like chatbots, that's great. And, the kind of chatbot advertising market is very new. So I think being an early player here bodes well for them and kind of adds a bit of a feather in their cap to this idea that they are a new ad tech powerhouse that will compete with Google and a host of other smaller firms. I will say that Google actually last year, Bloomberg reported, was also kind of experimenting with helping third party apps with chatbot advertising, but it's all pretty new. So.
And so Google, Amazon, are any other big players that are doing this that we should be aware of?
I don't think any on that scale. There are some startups. I know last week, Koa came on the show to talk
Yeah.
about a fundraising round, and they would be another company competing in this space, providing the sort of the technical layer for powering ads and chatbots. But yeah, I mean, I do think this is all pretty advantageous for Amazon. Advertising is actually their fastest growing business last year on an annual revenue basis. So they're trying to sort of stay in the money.
Now, you mentioned Koa, and one of the questions that I've been thinking about is to what extent the old ad tech giants will end up prevailing in this new advertising economy with chatbots, or if there actually is room for these startups and lesser known companies to really become the dominant player. I wonder, advertisers that you talk to, I mean, they're probably all used to dealing with these giant tech companies. Do they kind of feel like they're gonna sort of go back to whoever, they trust with these types of products?
I think it's really a question of, like, technical innovation. So, like, if we find that chatbots require new ad formats and new targeting, and other startups are faster at developing these techniques, I think advertisers will go there. We, like, kinda look at the history, like, first there was web advertising, then there was mobile. A whole new wave of ad tech companies, including AppLovin, maybe being the best well-known, kind of came up because they were able to offer new technology, that was novel for how to advertise in this new format. Now, the next big kind of wave was streaming television, and a lot of the same, there were some maybe newer players, but a lot of the same kind of advertising technology companies that have been kind of known for web advertising were able to still become big players in streaming television. So, I think it just depends on whether chatbot advertising kind of requires innovation that a startup can provide. I know that I interviewed the main investor in Koa for this article, and he was saying that it's going to need new targeting, new ad formats. A startup will provide that. I mean, he would say that, of course, but I I think that yeah, we have to wait and see.
Now, last question here. Do we have any sense of the work that's happening with OpenAI, given that Amazon has invested all this money into OpenAI? I mean, they are obviously introducing ads themselves. Are they going to end up using these products?
It's a good question. I don't we don't know, and that release about the OpenAI Amazon deal did not mention advertising. Um, but actually, like yesterday, OpenAI announced a partnership with an advertising technology company, Criteo. Um, so that shows that OpenAI might be open to partnering with other advertising technology companies, and why not use Amazon? They might not want to because that would give Amazon more access into their data,
Right.
and their
They
audience,
already have
and
so much access as it is.
yeah, and they might wanna say, "Hey, we have a unique audience that maybe not all of them are using Amazon." I don't know if that's true, but maybe that's true, and we wanna keep that to ourselves, or we don't want Amazon to know how our audience is shopping on ChatGPT, and that would be fair, but we'll see. Um
Great. Well, Catherine, I want to thank you for coming on. That is Catherine Perloff, our Amazon reporter here at The Information.